Hello, everyone. I always have a little standalone heater. Hold one sec. I always have this heater because I'm always freezing cold. So I just turned my heater down. Hello, everyone. Untangled episode 29. Give a little shoulder shake, shoulder shake, shoulder shake. We're here. What a time to be alive on the planet. You made it. You are here. We made it through another day. We woke up, we put our clothes on, some of us, we showered, some of us. We're doing this. We're doing the damn thing. You know what I mean? It's really good to be here with you guys. Really grateful to have this community, to have this YouTube channel, to have this Untangled series, to be able to connect with you every single week in order to remember that we're not crazy and that we haven't lost our minds, that there is an absolute massive evolutionary shift in human consciousness that you have agreed to go through, and you get to have all the temper tantrums in the world as you go through it. So one of the reasons that I do this Untangled series is to talk about the uncomfortable, to bring the shadow to the light, to bring the dark, the painful, that which we don't want to see to the forefront, so that it can be something that we don't shy away from, don't run from, and we learn to allow to be a part of our everyday life. I think that the more that we can talk about that which we have been programmed to not talk about, the easier it will be to move through this massive shift in consciousness that you agreed to be a part of. So welcome, welcome, welcome. And thank you for being here. It's an exciting day. My book, The Divine Design, came out finally in the audio version. The audiobook is available right now on Amazon and on Audible. It will be available on iTunes and Spotify in about a week. It's going through the process of being accepted. And it is potent, powerful, and activating if you listen to this audiobook. It doesn't matter if you've read the book. If you've tried to read the book, the audiobook is a whole other level of WTF. I narrate the entire book. It's my voice. And it's really, really powerful. So the link is down below in the description for the Audible and the Amazon links. You can get it most everywhere in the world. And again, the iTunes and the Spotify links will be coming out shortly. For those of you that can't access Amazon or Audible for some reason, I'm really excited to get the Audible out. And the other thing that I want to share before we dive in to the topics that I have to discuss today is that I am doing a really powerful 2-hour live online event December 20th, closing out 2022, stepping into 2023. I haven't done an online event in a while. I think it's been August, September. So I'm really excited to do this. It's 2 hours. It's called Activate 2023. It's only $29, and it's going to be a powerful event. Meditation, Q&A, tools to step into 2023, intentions for our 2023, releasing of our 2022, honoring of 2022. And just it's going to be fun. It's going to be powerful. So the link to Activate 2023 is down below. I'll also be posting it in social media and sending out emails as well to join. So hopefully you can join. December 20th, 12 p.m. California time, 2 hours. All right. Oh, this is going to be a fun episode. Well, I think it's going to be a fun episode, but we'll see. All right. So a couple of things. Where do I want to start? I'll start with aliens, UFOs, ETs, whatever word you want to describe it, or whatever word you want to use. So first of all, as many of you know, I started out in much more of the woo-woo type of spiritual world, right? I started off um, channeling and connecting to higher dimensional beings and um, just stuff that wasn't very basic and human, right? And then 2020 hit, and um, I received a huge smackdown from the guides that I listened to, my guidance, and it's time to talk about what's happening like on the planet, the corruption, the evil, the mind control. I had always been aware of this since I was 12, 13 years old. I've always been aware of the new world order. I've always been aware of the chips that may be placed into our bodies. I've been aware of this since I was very, very young. um, so none of this stuff is new. But in 2020, I was kicked out aside the head and woken up into it's time to talk about this stuff. And so I started talking about everything and walking humanity through this evolutionary shift. And I sort of pushed aside the more galactic, higher dimensional stuff that I access every single day. It didn't feel relevant. It didn't feel important. And lately, I've been coming back to this sort of balancing of all of it. But I've been hesitant. I really have been hesitant because for me, um, being on the planet and being human is more important than anything. I don't care that there's higher dimensional consciousnesses, that there's aliens, that there's contact, there's disclosure. To me, none of that really matters if you can't show up for life. If you can't feel pain and sadness and anger and rage, depression, loneliness, irritability, if you can't feel traumas, if you can't just simply feel, I don't care what's happening off planet, that to me is a bypass. That to me is trying to disassociate from the human experience by elevating yourself into some other existence and reality that makes you feel good. Anything that pulls you out of the darkest parts of this planetary existence, to me, is a disservice. And so every day, here's the interesting piece is that every single day I connect to higher dimensional light beings every single day. Every single day I actually go up, I bilocate onto a spaceship. As crazy as that may sound to a lot of people, every single day when I close my eyes, I'm on a spaceship. I'm sitting in a boardroom with 12 different higher dimensional beings talking to me with a window looking out to Earth. I've been doing this for years. And yet, when I open my eyes and I go out into the world, what do I want to talk about? The human experience. What do I want to talk about? The pain, the shadow, the dark, that which makes you uncomfortable, that which you're running from, that which you're numbing from. Why? Because that is the most important part of our human journey. And so lately, my guides have been urging me to start talking about the other realm more and more. The the realm of we're here, it's okay now. You can start integrating this. It's going to be something that the human is going to continue to wake up to and to remember. And so bringing it back into your teachings, Lori, and starting to juggle it with the very basic, you're going to be okay, you've got this, feel everything, is part of the evolution, is part of the shift in human consciousness. And it's what we are designed to be in. It's our multidimensionality. And so the other day in my Patreon community, I did a meditation, right? Where there's this thing called bilocation. Okay. Bilocation is basically what you do in your dream state. And except in the dream state, it's called astral travel, right? Because in the dream state, you're unconscious, meaning that you are not awake and aware to what is happening. But in the dream state, you are simply in two places at the same time. Your physical body is on the bed or on the couch or on the floor, wherever you are sleeping. And your etheric body, your light body, is traveling, moving into different dimensional realms, different dimensional fields, having different experiences. And that's the same thing as bilocation, Bilocation is when you are aware and awake and conscious to being in two places at the same time. This is very normal for us. It's just that we forgot how to do it. Okay, it's not something that's like, "Oh my god, it's magic." It's just simply experiencing this quantum field. We have this, a lot of us have this awareness of like, oh, there's other dimensional realms, there's other frequencies or vibrations to be felt. There's so much more happening than just this third dimensional physical reality. And so on one level, there's a logic. Thank you, Metaphysical Mike, for that super chat. I appreciate it. There is the logic of like, yeah, I understand there's dimensions. I understand all of that. And then there's another layer of actually consciously experiencing it. So one of the things that I do is I do these guided meditations where we bilocate. I haven't done them in a long time because again, I want to simply be in the human experience. I want to be human. I want to be heavy. I want to be physical. I want to feel pain. I want to feel suffering, not suffering, but shadow. And I want to feel trauma and I want to feel it all because that's where transformation is. When we stop running from the actual human experience, when we stop trying to bypass, when we stop trying to feel good, that is when we are actually transforming. That's when we're evolving. That's when we are um, in the most empowered state. Okay. It's not when you go up on these spaceships or when you meditate into these higher frequencies or any of that. The most empowered state that you can be in is when you are feeling everything and most importantly, feeling what you don't want to feel. To me, if there is one thing that we are designed to do on this planet besides love, it's just to feel everything, right? So I've started embracing the balancing of more of this kind of alienish galactic stuff again. Okay. And so we did this bilocation meditation on Sunday where I took everybody up on a spaceship. People that had never, like, didn't even know what bilocation was, they were on the spaceship. People that were hesitant, people that had never had any, interaction with the higher dimensional realms, they were on the spaceship. And what does this mean? What does it feel like? It feels like a dream. Again, because it is exactly like the dream state. You are not physically in front of something. You can't physically hold it, but there is energy that there is something there. You're experiencing something. It's hazy, it's foggy, it's not super crisp, but you know that you're in something. You know you're in a room. You know how like when you're in a dream, you're like, I know that this person is standing here and it feels like a male but you can't actually see the very specifics in dreams a lot of times. That's what bilocation is. And one of the reasons that they wanted to take us up on this ship, these higher dimensional beings, is because the more that we are, the more that we go through this shift in consciousness, this evolution, the more intense that it's going to be. The more intense it's going to be internally for you, perhaps, but definitely the more intense it's going to be externally. And so it's about remembering layers to this human experience. It's not just about the logic of like, oh, yeah, I agreed to be here. And oh, yeah, I volunteered. And, it's like, it's one thing to read a book and to understand the knowledge. It's a completely separate thing when you actually start being what it is that you've read. When you actually start implementing it into your life as a beingness, an experience, an expression, it's a like, very different way of understanding the world. We can read and understand and have all of this knowledge, and none of it matters if you're not actually being it, if you're not actually experiencing it. So many of us are like, "Oh, yeah, there's aliens." Right? "Oh, yeah, I volunteered to be here." Right? "Oh, yeah, this is an experiment or an experience or this is whatever it is." But when you actually energetically experience that remembrance, then you can't ever forget it. It's just in you, right? And all of us have these deep cellular remembrances that this planet, this reality is only one reality. Now, all of you are going to say, I already know that. But how many of you have actually experienced in a conscious way other realities, consciously awake, right? Where it enters into your beingness and you can't forget it. That is what is being asked of us. Can we start to consciously awaken within us the deep, deep remembrance, right? That there is so many more realities occurring than this physical third dimensional reality for the soul, for the sake of being able to navigate what we're about to go through, what we are going through and what we did go through. This is a juggling act. I've spoken about this so many times. This is a juggling act. It's not black or white, right? It's not like you're constantly discussing aliens and in the world of higher dimensional realms, or you're only focused on the human experience and you're only focused on your trauma and you're only focused on healing, right? And getting through your day. It's all of it. It's being able to remember that you're actually being looked down on right now. There are higher dimensional beings. There are thousands of spaceships right now that are aware of this conversation. They're aware of you and I communicating right now. They are watching every breath you take. They're cheering you on. They're guiding you. They're guiding this entire planetary experience. And you have to wake up and go to a job that you can't stand. You have to process some deep, deep trauma. You have to figure out how you're going to pay bills that you don't have money for. Okay, so what the human tends to do is either one or the other. I'm going to bypass this human experience that I don't want to look at and only think about how there's these beautiful higher dimensional beings and earth is just already in this great world and we're already on heaven on earth and life is grand and I'm just going to focus on that and move myself into that, and therefore everything else in the world that I don't want to see and that I don't want to focus on somehow just goes away. I'm going to just push it away. Or you've got the other side where it's like nothing else exists. This is the only thing that matters. I'm just trying to get through this. I'm just trying to figure my life out. I only want to, and all I can do is survive, right? This evolution in human consciousness is the juggling of all of it. The remembrance that it's so much bigger. The remembrance that you are not human, you are a consciousness, a light, that there are consciousnesses and lights that are looking at us, watching us, guiding us, protecting us, co-creating with us, and that it's not something that's woo-woo. It's not something that is spiritual or in the spiritual community. It's the human experience. It's this planetary shift. It's part of all of this. There's nothing woo-woo about it. There's nothing spiritual about it. There's nothing new agey about it. It's part of the human experience. It's part of waking up. It's part of remembering. And the planet is so divisive. We are so right, wrong, good, bad, black, white, right? We have such divides on this planet that when you talk about aliens, UFOs, ETs, whatever it is, it's like the mind automatically goes to new age, woo woo, weird, no way. We separate information, right? And then once we separate it and categorize it, then there's a judgment with it. And one of the things that we are here to look at is that, are you dividing? Are you separating? Are you categorizing? It's fine. That's what we do on the human journey, but pay attention to that, because when you do that, you're going to make it right or wrong, good or bad, experience it, not experience it. It's this way or it's that way, right? Like, oh, if you talk about aliens or UFOs, then you must be in this category. And like that whole thing has to implode. It has to go away. There's a difference between denying what is simply so because you're trying to bypass what is and just simply accepting the realities that we are in. For instance, if you are in communities or in realities on the planet where you are always trying to um, step out of the corruption, the dark, the evil, the really heavy shit on the planet. If you are someone that finds yourself in communities or in groups that are constantly consciously bypassing out of that. So, no, we don't think about that. We don't talk about that. That only exists if you think about it. That only exists if you focus on it. There's actually a completely different world and it's over here and this is how you get into it and this is how you experience it. And this is what you need to do to be able to experience this other world. You actually don't want to be in that world. Divide, separation, categories, right, wrong. If you find yourself in that, you want to pay close attention because that is denying what you're actually in. The idea that there is a separateness, that there are, that there is UFOs, aliens, and something, and ETs and stuff over here, and then there is the human suffering and the pain and the trauma over here. Right? And there's this new world, this new earth, this 5D over here, and then there's this heavy 3D that nobody wants to be in. If there's a separation that you're finding yourself creating in your own reality, if there are e- you know experiences that you're finding yourself in where there is that separation, that is very, in my opinion, dangerous because these separations are one. It's all one. It's all an experience right here, right now. There is no separation. There is no getting to something. The aliens are here hanging out with us, and your pain and your trauma is right here hanging out with you. It just simply is. The planet's here. All the animals are on the planet. All the water, all the mountains, the volcanoes, the flowers, everything that's on the planet right here is on the planet. Aliens and ETs and UFOs are hanging out, and you, the human, is here trying to navigate it all, probably most likely experiencing uncomfortable things that you don't want to experience in order to evolve into higher states of being, higher states of awareness, while you simultaneously allow yourself to sit in what simply is. I was on a podcast the other day, this beautiful, amazing woman, um, and she said something around, how do we stay in 5D or how do we get to 5D? And it's there's nowhere to get. There's nothing, there's nowhere to go. That's the big that's an illusion that creates suffering. Recognizing that you can jump onto a spaceship in any moment through bilocation, be up on this spaceship, look out, see the earth, understand that there is a lot of heaviness going on the planet, and there is a lot of beauty happening on the planet simultaneously. And you're on a spaceship, and you volunteered to go down, and you're on assignment on the earth right now. And you may not want to be on the earth while you wake up every morning, opening your eyes saying, "Holy shit, I'm here." That's what we're here to do is juggle all of that, is juggle the awareness that there is so much more happening and I don't need to go anywhere. I don't need to escape anything. I don't need to try to move myself into anything. I got a Okay, so every day I'm connecting with higher dimensional beings. I'm literally sitting on a spaceship every single day. I never talk about it. I never voice it. I don't share it with people, but it happens every single day. I have an awareness of the fact that we're on this planet that is evolving. I have this awareness that so many of us have volunteered and we're on assignment. And I wake up every day and I go through the eating disorder thoughts. I go through sadness. I go through loneliness. I go through joy. I go through contentment. I go through peace. I go through all kinds of stuff. I don't numb myself out or separate myself because I go on a spaceship every single day, because I literally connect with higher dimensional light beings. Just because I do that doesn't mean I come back down and will open up my eyes and say, oh my God, I shouldn't be feeling these things. Quite the opposite. You feel all of it, you accept all of it, you go through all of it, you navigate all of it, you courageously sit in all of it and feel it while you remember that 20 seconds ago you were on a ship with all these higher dimensional beings. Or you remember that 5 hours ago you were on a ship hanging out with higher dimensional beings and now you're literally getting a letter from the IRS and you're being audited. It's not about escaping any of the human journey, it's about being in it so deeply that you're not trying to escape it. It's like That is this is what this is the juggling act, this is the multidimensional juggling act of being human. No longer separating it as one way or the other, you if you think about aliens and UFOs and ETs and start bilocating onto spaceships, you know, then you can't all of a sudden also feel massive amounts of pain and trauma and turmoil within you. And somehow, if you get a letter from the IRS, you're just going to positive think your way through because you were just on a spaceship. It's like, no, there's no getting out of this human journey. There's no getting out of this density. You can't go. Good luck. Let me know if you can do it, because you can't. You can't effort your way out of what we are in. That's why it's so courageous to be in and on this planet and the human body. So when I received a letter from the IRS on Saturday, uh, auditing me for 2 years of my income taxes, uh, I didn't close my eyes and, like, mantra my way and just be like, "No, this isn't real, and I'm gonna" whatever the freak you would do, right? Like, I was having anxiety and panic, and, I experienced it quite physically. And the multidimensional human the part of me that's practicing this multidimensionality, um, had to do multiple things. One, I had to be the observer of what I was experiencing. So I had to watch myself experience what I was experiencing. I had to feel it. I had to feel everything. I had to process it through. And the way that I process things through is I speak it out loud to somebody, usually my mom. I get it out, right? And the whole time that I'm experiencing everything, there's always this awareness of these higher dimensional beings that are watching me. And I could have a temper tantrum, right? I could be like, "Why would this happen to me? Why is this doesn't make any sense?" I could have these temper tantrums. Why? This sucks, you know? Um, or I could simply say, "Okay, how am I going through this? How am I experiencing this? How am I feeling this? Am I going into fear? Yep. Am I going into the future? Yep. Do I have anxiety? Yep. Do I have stress? Yep. Do I wanna scream at the IRS? Yep. Do I want to have, a rant about the manipulation and coercion? Yep. Okay. But I just am simply in it, right? I'm simply in it. I'm just allowing the experience of the IRS letter to move through me. Even if I were to close my eyes and bilocate up onto the spaceship and talk to the aliens, talk to the higher dimensional beings, they're not gonna say anything. They're gonna be like, "Yep, that's what you're going through. Go back down." Yep. There's no bypassing this. There's no getting out of it. It's how you're going to experience it. It's how you're gonna go through it. And one of the reasons I think that I am being guided to speak a little bit more about the higher dimensional beings in as grounded of a way as possible, in as human of a way as possible, is to activate the deep remembrance that you're on assignment here. That is one of the biggest messages that came through on our meditation. You're on assignment. They kept saying that, you're on assignment. Now, when I get a letter from the IRS, do I give a shit that I'm on assignment? I don't care. When I wake up with anxiety and stress and worry, do I care that I'm on assignment on the planet? No, not at all. When I don't have enough money to pay certain things, do I give a rat's ass that I'm on assignment on the planet? No. Nope. Welcome to the juggling act of being multidimensional, right? So you hold multiple awarenesses, and the more that you can hold the awareness that you are also on assignment on the planet, what ends up happening, what starts to happen, is that there is an ease and a grace that starts to move through you or stays with you like on your shoulder as you navigate your human journey. You start complaining less. You stop asking why less. You stop being a victim. You start opening your heart more. So you start feeling a lot more. You start recognizing what a gift it is to be on the planet while you simultaneously want to scream. It is not one or the other. It's not separate, or it's not like I should only be feeling love. I should only be feeling acceptance. I should only be feeling this deep surrender and flow. No. You're going to feel if you have the idea that through this evolution, you're just going to keep feeling better and better and better, you are going to be in for a rude awakening when shit happens to you that's going to pummel you, that's going to get you to look at deeper awarenesses within you, deeper ways that you have been on this planet. How do you react and respond to anxiety? How do you act and respond to stress? How do you act and respond to people that don't think the same way as you? How do you act and respond when you look at a post or somebody's video that you don't agree with? Do you argue back? Do you fight back? Do you try to make them feel bad? How are you being on the planet? And the universe, the world, life is going to show you. Life's going to show you how you are on this planet in order to allow you to evolve on this planet. And simultaneously, through all of that, everything that's going to be shown to you. So you're not necessarily choosing to, if you're trying to choose to stay in these high states or to only feel certain things, you're in a state of control and you're negating your own evolution. You're negating your own transformation. At the end of the day, you're none of it. You're none of this. You're none of what you're experiencing. None of it is you. So that's another ball that you're juggling. But none of it is actually you. But that's a challenging one for us to hold. It's true, but it's very challenging in the human experience. But can you hold that? Can you hold that there's aliens? Can you hold that there's higher dimensional beings in thousands of spacecraft watching right now? Can you hold that while you also get a letter from the IRS, or you go through a breakup, or you have a miscarriage, or you watch really horrific things on social media or on the news? Can you hold this? Can you hold that most likely in your dream state, you're on spaceships, looking down at the earth, realizing that you came here on mission, on an assignment, and that when you open your eyes in the morning, you're not going to remember any of it. And you're not even going to know what your assignment is. And you're going to think that what you're doing on the planet is definitely not impacting humanity. When in fact, every single thing that you do every single day is impacting humanity. This is the other thing they said to us on Sunday. They said, "Your assignment," okay, they called it an assignment, but you can call it your purpose, your mission, the why of being here. Your assignment is being the human. They said the amount of energy that humans are wasting trying to find their purpose, trying to find the reason for being on the planet, trying to find their mission is unfortunate because the assignment, the purpose, the mission is the fact that you are as consciousness in the human body experiencing this. That is the assignment. And the more that you can hold that awareness while you navigate the intensity of your human journey, and you take baby steps to be aware of how you're treating yourself, others, animals, sentient beings, the more impact you're actually having, as opposed to saying to yourself, what am I here to do? What am I here to do? What's my mission? I'm not making a big enough impact. I'm not changing the world. I'm not doing it the way dot dot dot. Just by you being in the human body, waking up every day and exchanging and interacting with the world is your impact. Everything else is second. That's not to say that a lot of you don't have specific signatures that you came to play out, right? There are specific signatures within you that may be asked to be played out eventually. I didn't write the divine design until I was 43. So if I'm 22 trying to figure out what I'm here to do, and it doesn't actually unravel until I'm 43, I'm wasting a lot of energy fighting against what simply is. So you want to pay attention to you fighting against what simply is in your life. Stop fighting against what just is. The key to your freedom, the key to your impact on the planet every single day is to stop resisting what you're in, is to stop fighting what you're in. That's why going up on these ships can also be pretty helpful, because every once in a while you'll remember, oh, wait a second, I'm on assignment. And then hours or days will go by and you don't remember that. And then all of a sudden you'll remember, oh shit, I'm on assignment. I'm not this human. I'm not this human. I'm on assignment. Right? And then a couple more days will go by and then you'll remember again. And then eventually you start remembering every other day. And then you start remembering every day. It's not a bypassing of the human experience. It's not a separation. Oh, I'm on a mission and none of this matters because I'm on mission and I'm on an assignment and so none of this actually matters and I don't have to work. No, it's the opposite, right? I'm on a mission, I'm on assignment, and I just got a letter from the IRS and I want to scream and pull my hair out and I'm nauseous and I think I'm going to vomit. It's juggling all of that. That's the multidimensional human. That is this experience. That's what you're here to do. You're here to remember that you're not here to escape any of it, not get out of any of it. And remember while you're in it that not only are you none of it, but in any moment, you can remember that you've been on a spaceship, most likely in your dream state, where you've looked down at Earth and you've been hanging out with higher dimensional beings that are reminding you that, hey, look at that beautiful, alive, vibrating planetary body that you chose to go down to and assist in shifting its frequency. And you're up on a spaceship looking down, hanging out with these higher dimensional beings, thinking, that's insane. That is nuts. Why would I do that? And then you remember, oh my God, what a gift, of course. The co creation with you and this planet, the co creation with you and humanity. You start looking down at the planet, right? And at all of the humans that are on the planet, and you start realizing, holy shit, there's so many of us that are standing there on the front lines, beating ourselves up because we don't think we're doing enough without realizing that we're shifting an entire planet. We're shifting an entire human evolution while we beat ourselves up, while we say mean things to ourselves, while we say mean things to others, while we beat other people up, especially people that are doing the same work as us. So every single time you get that perspective of looking down at the earth, which is another reality. There are thousands of spaceships up there, whether you believe it or not. And there are higher dimensional light beings hanging out on those. You're not a human. So what are you? If you're not a human, which you're not, if you know that there is a moment where your physical body stops pumping blood and the heart stops, the observer that you have been this entire human journey, where does it go? Where does the soul, the spirit go? We're not human. If we're not human, that means there must be other consciousnesses that are not human. It's not far-fetched to understand that there's higher dimensional consciousnesses. It's not that far-fetched to realize that these higher dimensional consciousnesses are participating with us. Why would we be the only ones in human bodies participating in this massive evolutionary shift in consciousness? That's very egocentric. Very egocentric. There are so many realities that are happening on this planet outside of what we can physically see on an energetic level. And so to be able to walk through this human journey in all of the darkness, in all of the light simultaneously, not trying to only jump into the light, only find, heaven on earth, only try to find the new earth or the new world. That's not why you're here. When you're up on that spaceship looking down at Earth, this beautiful, vibrating planet, your heart explodes. You get a perspective, you have a lens all of a sudden of like, holy shit, I'm literally standing on something that is evolving. I'm literally a part of it. And what I'm on and what I'm participating in is intense. It's like volcanoes erupting over and over. And when you look at Earth, there's nowhere to go. You're not like, "Oh, these people need to move over here and just step into, that heavenly garden, and then they won't have to experience the massive amounts of, volcanoes that are gonna erupt." No. You look at Earth and you realize, "Oh my God, the dark is happening at the same time as the light." The heaven is there just like hell. The evil is there just like all of the love. Wow, it's all happening at the same time. There's nowhere to go. It's about the awareness and your state of being while you are standing on that planet. That's what it's about. It's about accessing new ways of being on the planet as this entire experience, as this entire human journey shifts. And the more that you try to change or get out of the fact that you're standing on the planetary body that's going to continue to erupt with evil and corruption and darkness while it continues to pour in light in order for you to experience more love more compassion, more empathy, and more joy. The more that you can stand in all of that, the easier it will be, the less you will be in suffering. The more you will move through this with ease and grace, regardless of what is happening. Because when you are standing on that galactic ship looking down at the earth, you're not saying to the higher dimensional beings, you know, God, I hope that I only feel love and light and joy. That's not what you're thinking. You know what you're thinking? Holy shit. I cannot believe I'm going down and experiencing that. Wow. Holy cow. I'm supposed to be in all of that. Wow. What the fuck? Excuse my language. You know what you think when you look at Earth and you're on a spaceship and you've got all these higher dimensional beings hanging out with you? How freaking courageous you are. You know what else you think? You realize how much love humanity needs. You know what else you think? You realize how much you beat yourself up. When you're on a spaceship looking down at Earth, surrounded by higher dimensional beings on this amazing craft that somehow is able to navigate these higher dimensional frequencies, you think to yourself, you realize the higher purpose that you have. You realize the higher purpose that humanity has. You realize the natural process of this evolution. You realize that you're making a difference just by opening up your eyes and taking a breath every morning. You realize that it's not about figuring out how to find true love, how to find your twin flame, how to find your divine partner, how to get out of a job you hate. You realize that it's about accepting, acknowledging, surrendering into what simply is your human experience. The humility of, holy shit, I can't stand my job. The humility of, I don't have a divine partner. I don't have a twin flame. I don't have any of that. I am simply here. I am simply in this human journey. I'm simply waking up every day. I'm simply walking through life. How can I impact myself and humanity through this? If you are designed to have that divine partner, if you are designed to have a different job, the more you stay focused on what simply is showing up for you, the more you will be shown what is next. So you simultaneously show up for life by being in life, by allowing your day to show you what's next while you hold the intention of where you're going, which means that you are in a job you don't like and you know that there will be another moment where you will be in something that you enjoy. And if not, so be it. How am I here to be in the highest state of being while I am in something that I don't like? How can I hold the perspective that I'm on a spaceship with higher dimensional beings looking down, looking through a window down at Earth and seeing little old me in a job she hates impacting the world by walking around on the planet? That is what we're here to juggle. That's what we're here to hold. And having the temper tantrums around all of it. That we don't escape out of our pain. We don't escape out of our suffering, bypassing by just thinking about, oh my God, I'm just going to move myself into some higher realm and be with these higher dimensional beings and love and light and namaste my way through this. It's here to remember what a badass you are for being courageous enough to stand on this planetary body right now as it moves through a massive evolution, not running, not hiding, not pretending, not trying to get away from, but standing in it and saying, how am I being in this? How am I navigating this? What are the things that I'm telling myself? How am I treating other people? How am I treating other sentient beings? That is evolution. From that place, you will naturally move into higher states and new states of being. You will naturally find yourself at peace in a job that you hate, which will perhaps move you into a new job. You will naturally find a partner that's going to come in when you're not trying to grab a partner because you are learning and you are surrendering and you are accepting what is, and you're looking deeper and deeper inside of yourself, examining how you are showing up, what you are saying to yourself, what are your limiting beliefs, what is showing up in order to shift you. Not, I don't like this, I hate this, I want out of this, how do I change this? This isn't right, this is wrong, this shouldn't be happening. What if everything that is happening right now, as hard as this may be for many people, and people have a hard time with this, but what if everything that is showing up is catapulting you? And it's catapulting you by asking you to look at how you are being in it. There is gray in all of this. This is not black or white. One of the responses I always get when I say this, because it triggers a lot of people, is, well, what if I was raped? What if I was molested? How do you say that to a kid, that this and that? Again, this is not black or white. There's a lot of gray. I wouldn't say it to a kid. I wouldn't tell a kid, hey, you chose that. This is going to shift you. This is going to evolve you. If somebody stood in front of me and said, I was just raped by somebody, I wouldn't be like, well, you chose that. That's here to evolve you. That's here to shift you. Common sense. Come on. I mean, it's like, there's layers to this awareness. There's layers to what um, you know, how you see the world. Obviously, it is horrific if you are raped or molested or abused or mistreated or neglected or any of that. That is horrible. And to tell that person that has experienced that they need to just look at that as a gift that they've given themselves is difficult. It's challenging. So you start with where you're at and you look at this human experience from multiple layers, from multiple lenses. It's not black or white. It's all of it. If you have the capability of having a life that isn't full of torturous experiences, right? Like rape or abuse or molestation or things like that, neglect, then it's easier to look at your experiences as serving you shifting, you evolving. But there are many humans that's not possible. They're just trying to survive. They're just trying to navigate life and take one breath each second. So it depends on where we're at, depends on what we're experiencing. But we all have the ability to hold the lens that we're on assignment on the planet. It's not going to assist necessarily the people that are in deep, deep trauma, that are truly just trying to survive. They don't give a shit that there's a spaceship that you can go into. Who cares? That's a luxury to be able to remember that, right? That's a luxury to be able to hold that awareness. That's a luxury. For a lot of people, they are just simply trying to survive. And that's all they can focus on. But eventually, hundreds of millions of humans, regardless of what they are in, are going to start to evolve. Again, regardless of what they're experiencing, there will be this huge explosion of evolution with the human collective, where they will begin to remember more and more that this is an experiment, that this is an experience, that they are on assignment. And when more and more humans start to accept that while they stand in the human experience, while they feel pain and sadness and loneliness, then the human collective is going to become extremely empowered. Right now what's happening, and perhaps that's starting to shift, but what's happening is like, you know, there's this group that where life is kind of like pretty okay for them, so they're capable of, like, living in this, like, other reality where the heartaches in the world don't impact them. The traumas of the world don't impact them. The starvation in the world doesn't impact them. The abuses of the world don't impact them, so they somehow live in some fantasy world, right? And they have kind of separated themselves from the really horrific things that are on the planet, and that is a coping mechanism. In my opinion, we are designed to, no matter what state of evolution you're in, no matter what state of awareness you're in, no matter what your life is like, especially if you have an easy life, you are designed to stand in and next to the people that are suffering, in my opinion. People will argue that. But if you pull yourself out and look at a space out from the spaceship and you look down at the planet and you realize what you're here to do and what you sort of sacrificed to be in a physical form, you think you're going to try to separate yourself from those that are in the deepest amount of pain and just live in some society where like it's all love and light? I don't think so. I think you're going to continue to allow yourself to hold new awarenesses, new ways of being, new states of being, while you continue to keep yourself in the pain of the world, the suffering of the world, the corruption of the world. That's the true master. That's the assignment that you're on. How can you do that? How can you be in that instead of running from, chasing, trying to escape? If there's nowhere to go. In fact, what if it's the opposite of everything you've been thinking it's supposed to be? What if it's not about running from the pain, running from the corruption, running from the chaos, but it's about realizing that if you were to be off the planet looking down from a spaceship, you would realize the gift it is for you to be volunteering on assignment, living on the planet right now, being on the planet right now, and your highest impact is to not run from any of it. That's not to say that you don't, if you need to go and hibernate in some countryside. I'm not saying don't do what feels right to you. Don't do what resonates with you. What I'm saying is that if you are constantly trying to escape or run from life, from the world, pay attention to that, because there's nowhere to go and there's nowhere to hide, and you will constantly be running. No matter where you go on the planet, no matter what community you find yourself in, we're all gonna have to watch this. We're all gonna have to go through it. So it's a matter of practicing right now, learning how to be in this without running, learning how to be in this, juggling all of these other ways of seeing it, these lenses. What if throughout your day you just remembered every once in a while, you jolted yourself out of the human experience and kind of looked down at Earth, at the planet, at the humans, right? You got a quick little jolt of perception shift. I don't know what's happening around the globe. I know that there's a lot of corruption. I know there's a lot of evil. I know there's a lot of mind control. I can see it. I can see it in my own backyard. But I don't know what's happening. I don't really know what's happening around the globe because I'm not physically there. And I don't believe what they tell us on the news. But I know that if there is deception and mind control and evil in my community right here, it's probably around the world. And I know that the entire human collective is going through a massive evolutionary shift in consciousness. And what that means is that we have to see what we are in order to shift out of it. Just like in your own shifts, your own evolution, your own transformation. You have to see what you are in. You have to see what you have been living as. You have to see your limiting thoughts. You have to feel the emotions you don't want to feel. That's how you shift. You can only shift, you can only transform by seeing what you have been in or being, right? And at the end of the day, we all get to navigate this with a way that feels right to us. We all get to navigate this in the way that is of highest resonance to us. You get to choose your truths. You get to choose your beliefs. You get to choose how you want to navigate it. What I will say before we go is pay attention to um, two things before we go. Pay attention to what is showing up in your life right now. Just what's showing up. Experiences, events, people, limiting thoughts, emotions, just what's showing up. Just be curious. That's all. Okay. And the second thing is pay attention to how you are continuing to perpetuate some sort of divide, meaning um, I'm right, you're wrong. Just pay attention to that. That is something that really, really, really is being asked of us to look at. It's not, we all get to have truths that are our truths. There's universal truths, right? There are truths on this planet that most people won't argue, which is like you don't abuse a baby, right? You don't do harm to people, okay? But there's people that do that. The point is that you wanna be able to start practicing holding your truths around other people that are holding completely opposite truths. We've been practicing this, and we have been asked to practice this for a very long time, and specifically the last couple of years. But this is how you open your heart. This is how you inadvertently practice compassion and empathy, is that you hold your truth and you allow others to hold theirs. And you learn compassion and empathy through that every single day, all day long. Pay attention to how often you are being presented with that, whether on social media or in your regular everyday life. It's the greatest practice, one of the greatest practices we can be given, is recognizing and learning that our truths are our truths, and that is enough. And this person's truth is their truths, and that is enough. And we don't have to agree, we don't have to follow, we don't have to, uh, do as they do, we get to do as we do, we get to do as our thoughts and beliefs tell us because it is our truths. But the more we go after each other, the more we are perpetuating the frequencies on this planet that we are on assignment to shift. We're not on assignment on the planet to continue to beat other people up because they have different truths. We're on assignment learning how to stand in a very divisive, very polarized, very dualistic planet where we will continue to be pulled into "I'm right, you're wrong," which literally just perpetuates these lower frequencies that keep the planet and the human collective in this divide of beating each other up. The planet is not designed to have the same truths. Every single human is not designed to have the same truths. We are designed to learn to have love, compassion, and empathy with as many humans as possible that don't hold the same truths as us. That's what we're here to practice. That's our assignment on the planet. All right, you guys, thank you for being here. It's always a gift. It's always an honor to be able to sit with you guys for an hour. Join me next Tuesday, 9 a.m., for another episode of Untangled, episode 30. A couple more until the end of the year. Be gentle with yourself, be gentle with others. Hopefully, there is something that you can take from this episode. If this episode resonated, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and also pass this along to anybody that may find it beneficial, that may find the information beneficial. Always an honor to be with you guys walking this path, walking this really powerful human journey. Grateful to be on assignment with you. Sending you lots of love. Mwah.